Welcome back, listeners, to Inner Peace, Better Health podcast, where we explore the real stories behind transformation and well being and the journeys of exploring the inner peace, the inner calm within you. Now, today for this episode, I'm joined by a very dynamic young professional who moved from Munich to NYC. She conquered the corporate ladder, but then she faced a wake up call through burnout. And we'll dive into the power of positive thinking, your inner voice, and what exactly it really takes to align health, happiness, and success. So, with that, let's welcome listeners, Chrissy Glow. Welcome to the show, Chrissy.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me on today.
Lovely, lovely. You know, Chrissy Glow, I mean, your name itself, it really gives that, feel of positivity. But then let's move on to our conversation. Before we dive deep into the topic, Chrissy, um, there is one particular line during the intro which kind of struck with me is aligning health, happiness, and success. And in most of the circles, whether we talk about career or business, entrepreneurship, or success, sometimes we think that we do have to compromise or sacrifice something, whether it's your health or your family or your happiness or your inner balance or something to achieve what we have dreamed about. Do you agree with this, or do you believe that there can be an alignment in between all of these three things?
It's an incredible question. I do agree, but I think it has two sides. So, when it comes to my understanding of success, and after learning it the hard way, I do believe that it truly is a combination where you can be happy on all levels. But I do think it comes at the cost for the approval of others and specifically society and the world we live in. A lot of times, I think we define success in what looks successful from the outside, what is super busy, what is constantly on the go, always reachable, always available, always in meetings, always doing big things. But then I feel like at the other side of that coin, we forget to really ask the person, do you feel happy? Do you yourself feel successful? And a lot of times I've learned over my now career, a lot of people answer that question with no, actually, I'm not happy. It looks great from the outside, but I don't feel it on the inside. So my mission is really to teach people and to make them understand, yes, it is possible. And it doesn't have to be understood from the outside, but it has to feel good on the inside.
That's really such a great answer to that. And I completely agree with Chrissy because I love to connect with your journey on standard template of getting good at studies, getting a good college, getting a good job, and we ideal career trajectory. Kind of it was ideal in between, but then COVID came and it kind of shattered. I'm just sharing from perspective of the state of mind I was in that particular moment. It shattered for me, but in the hindsight, I kind of realized that I was suffering from burnout because I have had reckless sleeping patterns. I didn't find any kind of joy in doing the simplest of the things which I loved to. I love to listen to music while working. That's kind of pleasure for me. I love to sing. I love to cook. I love to. So at that time, I was kind of frustrated. I I mean, even if I was working after I got laid off, I worked with a few startups. I was not feeling like I want to go to work. Just want to sleep the so it was really, really a big wake up call for me. I lost touch with my parents. I kind of realized I haven't been there as myself with them, with me. So I so much connect with your journey.
That is beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. And I completely know how you feel, like having that sense of losing yourself, losing all joy, everything that gives you pleasure usually. And then also like that detachment of family members and loved ones, because you can't show up for anybody else because you just want to sleep, you just want to rest. Everything feels overwhelming and it's just too much. I'm sorry you had to go through that as well.
Oh, okay. But, it's all the shared experiences that connect us.
That is true. And everything happens for a reason. I truly believe that. All the downsides make us realize like how beautiful life is afterwards.
So, Chrissy, since we're talking about inner voice, positivity, for you, in fact, burnout was a pivotal moment. So, how did your inner voice sound before burnout? I mean, how has it been instrumental in changing the way you look at life, you look at success, you look at yourself?
Hmm. I love that. And it is really like you just said, that pivotal moment where everything changed was um that actual event of the burnout itself. So if we want to look before the burnout, I was really motivated by success from the outside. So like I'm still very young. I'm a young professional in New York City. I'm an immigrant. So like I came here from Europe. I made it my priority to always be the youngest in the room, always be most of the time only one of a few females in the room, but still making very large decisions, having very like large budgets on hand, having all that responsibility, leading team members, a lot of times teammates being older than myself. So like that gave me a lot of pleasure. And I was like, wow, that is super, super successful. And the busier I got, the busier I wanted to be. So I always ask for additional projects. How can I step up? How can I do more? How can I enlarge the team? How can I get more responsibility? And I always had that hunger for more and more and more. And I feel like a lot of times I didn't pause to look back or to realize where I was. I just wanted more. So whenever, for example, when I speak to my parents in the past, like like that's like, how are you doing? Like, how is this going? Head, I'm like, oh, that was last week. Now, like, this is something completely different. And then in my head, my inner voice would be thinking, oh, that's not good enough. Like last, it wasn't so good. Now it's bigger, but I need more. So, like, it was always that comparison with kind of like the trust not seemingly being good enough because I wanted more. And then, but inner voice was just not taking a lot of pause, but constantly just asking for more. And I think that the moment in the burnout was complete silence in a way where I was forced to stop. Like my body didn't cooperate anymore. I couldn't speak. I couldn't move. I couldn't, like, I lost all basic abilities. I couldn't function or think anymore. So like that was for me like the brutal realization that I have been ignoring my angel voice, so to speak. So like I've been always listening to the little devil on my shoulder, like pushing me to do more, 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 which is great and helpful to be successful. But I think it is so important. And what I realized after that moment of and that experience of burnout was that I have not been feeding my angel voice, the positive voice, and the really like the voice that gives you gratitude and appreciation and thankfulness for everything you have and everything you accomplished. And then I really learned how to foster that side of myself because I really, before moving to the US, I feel like I'm the most positive person you can imagine. I see the beauty in everything. Everything happens for a reason. Even the craziest of accidents, I'm like, okay, but look at this. Like, if we look at it from this way, and there is something positive. But I think that voice was not heard before the burnout. Then the burnout made me realize, okay, there's something important you have been neglecting and ignoring. And then that taught me how to foster that voice again. And now I'm like, wow, I am so grateful that happened because now I feel like I am realigned with my true self, had lost my true self by not listening to the signs my body and my mind would give me before.
I so much agree with that. I mean, I have had so many conversations about, where burnout was physically like excruciating. And more than that, it's emotionally, mentally excruciating. And I don't know. I mean, it has kind of this word has been so much kind of been overused that the definitions, the contexts, they keep on changing. They kind of dilute the actual implications of suffering through it. So it's really important to address the actual you know uh, you know problem here. Sometimes it's so kind of I don't want to demonize this, but it's so devious that we don't in fact realize it, that we are suffering through it, or we are on the verge of getting well. So
That is so true. I couldn't agree more with you. Like to add onto what you just said, I feel like it is also very stigmatized still. So like specifically, I feel like as a young professional or like in a success motivated circle, I want to say, it is kind of like stigmatized in a way of like, oh, you have burnout, you're not strong enough, you're weak, or you are like not able to manage your stress or whatever it is. And even like when I got the diagnosis, when my entire body shut down, like I thought, I'm like, do I have a heart attack? Do I have a seizure? What is going on? Like my mind and body, nothing functions. And I saw the doctor right away, and they told me, you have a severe burnout, like you need to step away from your work right now and drastically change your lifestyle, or you will continuously see very drastic health um struggles after this. I told them it's not possible. I'm young, I'm healthy, I don't have burnout. Like it's not me. Like that must be something else. I need change something that could be possible. And I feel like I was so ashamed when I got the diagnosis, because I feel like in society, like you just said, it's so overused that it is, oh, burnout. It's not something real. It's not something tangible. And also, like in my experience, so again, like thank you so much for sharing your story as well. I felt so alone because I feel like people don't speak about it. And then I made it my mission. I'm like, okay, like it is actually happening to me. I didn't know it was possible. I didn't see somebody else speak about it or be vulnerable about it. So I thought like it's not a real thing until I experienced it on my own body. And now I want to help people understand it is severe, and those are the signs. You are on the brink of it happening. Please listen to your body so you can avoid all of those drastic ripple effects that really has on your body and your mind. For me, the burnout completely took me out of commission over 6 months. Like completely, I could not read emails. I could not read, like function. I would see the words. I couldn't intake any information. It was really severe, and I didn't expect it to be that drastic, because again, I feel like society needs to bring more awareness to the seriousness of it.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Thanks for emphasizing the importance on this. And I'll be very honest, Chrissy. Um, I when I got into podcasting, I think I should be really really thankful to you know podcasting, because it has kind of given me a voice as well to share my snippets or side of my journey, whether it's about um, career wise making a bold transition, or kind of exploring my own demons, or my own skills or positive sides. So I'm really, really thankful that, with guests like you sharing their journeys and insights and experiences, I'm also kind of getting the voice in there. So thank you so much for sharing that, Pussy.
That is really powerful, and I love to hear that, Sana. Your voice must be heard. I agree.
Great. And another aspect, when we talk about positive thinking, I mean, goodness, it has been so much kind of, I shouldn't say this word, but kind of misconstrued. There's toxic positivity, just stay positive and things will happen. But my outlook here is different. I believe in a more of a self-aware assessment of the situations. I know that maybe this is a difficult time, whether it's from a financial aspect or a health aspect, or any other aspect. I know that this is going to be a tough time, but instead of just wallowing myself and getting into that rabbit hole, and getting that completely anxious in that anxiety, I think positive thinking is more about the strength, the mental strength, the mental uh, toughness that has to be there to make the assessment, and they take small baby steps to work towards it. So I would love to hear, Chrissy, in your experience, what is the difference between
true optimism or positivity, and then toxic positivity. Definitely. And I think it's really important to talk about that difference, because I do agree it's not being positive for the sake of being positive, but really making it situational and always listening to, okay, what is the lesson here? What can I learn from it? Why am I facing this opportunity right now? And how can I best set myself up for success? How can I prepare? So actually, it's been studied that the excitement in the body when we get anxious and when we get really excited, it's the same chemistry in our body. So when we have kind of like an anxiety flare up in like times of very high stress, or kind of like one of the warning signs of burnout can be anxiety. So when we have that, kind of like not to go into that blackout mode where like the anxiety takes over and leads our body, but then to really implement positive thinking and speak in your mind, like say something, okay, I know I'm nervous right now, but I'm excited for this opportunity. This gives me a platform to grow, and I will remain calm and face the obstacles because it gives me opportunity to be the bigger version of myself, or like the future version of myself. So I think in moments like that, it is important to give the microphone, so to speak, to the positive voice. But I think toxic positivity would be something where everything is kind of like going just like to the wrong side of things. And then it's just not learning something from it or seeing it as a lesson and not analyzing it, but just labeling it as, oh, actually, it's great that that happened. And then not thinking further, just making it seem so positive, but not analyzing, okay, what is the lesson behind it?
So it's such couldn't agree more. And you have said life is now and let's live it on our terms. Love it. Absolutely love it. Yes, but then I also kind of sometimes think, okay, although the life is now, but then also I have to be prepared for future in some of the aspects. So, what's one belief or mindset shift that actually helped you break free from the pressure of this external validation and live life on your own?
I think the pivotal moment and really where everything changed for me personally was where I saw like, okay, my health has been severely impacted by this. And if I don't listen to my own body and to my own voice and continue to listen kind of like to that outside validation and the success, then my health will be just neglected and will go downhill. And I realized if I don't take action now, that's also like how I implement my mantra more so life is now, because all we have really is right now. And the most things we can do and the most important thing we can do at all times is prioritize ourselves and our health, no matter the situation, because that sets up us for a successful future. Because if we think only about the future, then it's easy to like neglect the here and now, to really listen to those body signs, to like listen to our body, to see like what do we actually need? Do we need to rest? Is it time to pause, to just be silence and receive those signals in the here and now for then to walk into a healthy and successful future?
Definitely. And any particular tools or non-negotiable practices that you swear by, Chrissy, every day, which our listeners can also leverage to tune into their inner voice when life can be chaotic and overwhelming?
Definitely. And I love that you asked that question, because that's the number one goal, to really make people understand that you have the power in your hand, that you can do all of those things every single day, but you must be aware of what to do. Number one is definitely prioritizing sleep. So like when you're tired, you must rest. Like that is the number one reason. Too many times I'm guilty of that, and I see other people being guilty of that. Just caffeinating, just staying late up for work, finishing projects, all of that is good to a degree. Like you need to rest. So really having a consistent sleep schedule where you give your mind and body that pause to really restore and to continue to be healthy is truly important, as well as hydrating. Like drinking water is so underrated in my opinion. It is so important to just hydrate your entire body so your mind and body can function properly. And then positive self-affirmations. I think that's a really quick and easy tool people can implement in the front of a mirror. Best thing, first thing in the morning, when you go into the bathroom, when you brush your teeth, you're there anyway. A lot of times we look into the mirror and we're like, oh, I look tired. Like, how did I sleep? We have kind of like that bad voice in our head take over, the negative little hater on our shoulder. And those are the moments where we have the opportunity to feed our angel voice, that little angel on our shoulder, and speak positivity into our lives and tell us what we want to appreciate in a moment. So, for example, we just look into the mirror and we have a conversation either out loud or in our mind to tell us something positive. So we're like, oh, wow, like I am so proud of you. I'm so excited for today. This thing is happening today at 2 p.m. or whatever you have coming up. Or I'm so grateful. I have plans with my family this weekend. I can't wait for those. I'm so excited. And thank you, body, for consistently showing up. I feel healthy and strong today. I slept really good and I can't wait to just go into the sunshine, like do something nice, whatever that day might bring for you or whatever the day before had like brought into your life. Just speak that positivity out loud, like bring awareness to the beauty that surrounds you all the time. Because a lot of times it's easy to ignore those things and to go unnoticed. Or we must bring awareness, and we can do that easily every single day with a look into the mirror.
Absolutely. And this is needed because I mean, yes, to be just practical, you may have a good start at the dawn of the day, but yes, life is unpredictable. It can sometimes throw you curveballs, but then if your beginning of the day is refreshing, it is positive, mindful positive, I think that will give you the strength to kind of absorb and embrace those unpredictable moments as well.
100%. And like you say, I think the morning is that valuable time where you kind of like, you always must be on your own team. You can never be on the opposite team or like the enemy of yourself. So you must be your best friend. You must love yourself. You must be good to yourself and speak that positivity. Because if you think about it, before the world kind of like throws demands and curveballs at you, the morning time before all of that circus starts is kind of like that holy silent time, ideally, where you have a moment, and it must be just a moment where you really connect with yourself and set yourself, well, okay, today I'm excited for this, because that gives you that resilience and that power, kind of like putting on a knight, a shield, and that armor to protect yourself and to optimize your performance for the day ahead. So to give yourself that resilience to be on your own team.
Absolutely. And Chrissy, before we wrap up, just a little quick, I think this needs to be addressed upon. So I believe when we talk about inner voice, there are two kinds of voices with it. One which is kind of more of an inner critic. I personally also have been kind of battling through this. So sometimes I will be more critical about me, about the decisions I made or about the actions I took, maybe sometime back in the past. But then there will be an inner voice which will kind of, get me back into that solace and that balance or harmonized way of thinking. Okay, fine. Just forgive yourself and move on. Look at the next steps. Look at the present and future, and just go ahead. So I would love to understand from you what exactly a supportive inner voice looks like in practice.
Mm-hmm. That is very, very powerful. So I think to start off things, it is essential to let go of things, to be truly in the present and move into the future. Because it's kind of like if you look into the past too much, then it robs you of time to be in the here and now and to plan for the future, because you're just looking in the rear way mirror in a way. So like you must stay on course and look ahead, so there's no traffic organization or like you don't hit a car or a wall in front of you. So always look straight ahead. And again, like every thing in the past, I do believe whenever you have that inner critic come up and tell you something in the past, then there's probably a lesson you learned through that, or it made you stronger, or it showed you something you didn't see before. So I think whenever that inner critic comes up, then like remind him or her, whatever the voice in your head is, and grateful for that opportunity, because yes, that happened and it didn't feel great in a moment, but it brought you to where you are today. And it's just when little children learn how to walk, if they constantly just focus on, oh, I fell again, like I don't even want to get up anymore, they wouldn't start to walk, they wouldn't learn to walk, and wouldn't learn all the basic skills we learn as children. Because I think it is important to just let go of things and try again. Get up and move forward, because that's the only way. And whenever that inner critic comes up, I would just have a conversation with them. I'd be like, thank you for bringing that to attention. I do agree that happened in the past. Thanks for reminding me. This is the lesson I learned. This is how I grew from it. And that's why I'm here where I'm here. So thank you, that happened. And now I'm going to redirect my vision into the future and listen to the positive things.
Absolutely. And I think in a bit of a funny, more sarcastic way, naming your inner critic, or kind of, assuming, okay, my inner critic is really a toxic, narcissistic person in there. So I think the best to, treat my narcissist inner critic is, okay, I heard you, but I believe you're wrong, and I'll do this, I'll go forward. So I think that's where we kind of, defeat our narcissistic inner critic in there.
100%. And I think also what you said is very, very true. And I couldn't agree more, to really like let him speak, hear him out, but then also like give your personal opinion. Because a lot of times it's easy to just sit back and listen and take everything that he's or she's telling us as the truth, as facts. And then we're just like, we feel absolutely puzzled and we're like, oh my God, like, is it really that bad? But we have to take that voice as, okay, he's a little hater and we're not listening to him and we're talking to him because our opinion is actually different than the negative voice. We are our own person.
Exactly. Wonderful. Chrissy, so if our listeners would like to connect with you, what's the best way to do that?
I love that, and I would love to receive messages. I'm most active on Instagram at Chrissy Glow, and I love just sharing life stories, sharing advice, sharing everyday habits to make people more successful and happier and healthier, one step at a time and one day at a time. So I can't wait to hear from you.
Beautiful. Chrissy, I'll make sure to have all the details in the show notes. And what a really inspiring and such a heartfelt conversation it has been on turning burnout into breakthrough, Chrissy. So thank you.
I agree. Thank you so much, Sana. It was a pleasure.
So, listeners, just a few final words before we sign out. Your inner voice can be your greatest ally or your biggest saboteur. So until next time, keep prioritizing your peace and building a life that feels as good as it looks. Thank you to all of you for tuning into Inner Peace, Better Health. To connect with Chrissy, refer to the show notes along with this episode. And until next time, this is your host, Sana, on Inner Peace, Better Health. Thank you.
Thank you so much.